So kind of tonight I want to overview, just kind of sit-throughs, different perspectives on that, and then we'll take a look at the crucifix position. Okay? So sit-throughs, we're going to do that from two main positions. Under the front headlock, or they're beside you. Okay? So let's start with under the front headlock. Now, the idea is like I shot in on a double, he's sprawled. Now, here's a unique point. Like when this happens, that's a great time to initiate a sit-through. You don't want to get pinned underneath and caught with his weight. So kind of time, if he is sprawling out, right? Well, I kind of squeeze out, they'll fall over on that sometimes. So if you lose on a double, your palms or your forearms are going to smack the mat. Go out from under, all right? Squeeze out the side and get to this second position I'm talking about, that sort of ride from the back and top turtle, okay? So that's one option. Another one too, sometimes like when you shoot in for a double, you'll be deeper on them. And this happens in other instances, but they grab around your chest. There is a judo throw dedicated to this concept, right? But like a chest grab here. So from my forearms or from coming up, I could wrap, okay? And I sit through here. I'm pushing back into him. I'm not putting all my weight on his back or his side. I'm kind of driving back into the side of his body and his shoulder a little bit, and I'm turning towards the hips. So don't go towards the head on this, right? You see how I'm posted on my palm? Sometimes I'll grab the leg here as well. Okay, so that's from the chest grab, or just like the idea of like you're failing on the double. Okay, kind of look at that again. Here, you kind of get to the side behind him. Be careful about putting your knee down in the center. You're susceptible to attacks on the leg. Okay, so that's a couple of perspectives. Let's look at another one. What if they were attacking with, like, let's say a Drc choke, right? Or which is technically a strangle, or perhaps an arm in guillotine, right? These are things that are going to occur. So the grip, we're not going to get too overly complicated about is it a Darce, is it an anaconda, is it a guillotine, but it's like more like this, an arm in situation. Okay, now this could mean a Darce, it could mean a lot of things. All right, this is sort of like wrestler kind of front headlock strangles. All right, now he gets that sort of a grip here. Okay, what I'm looking to do is wrap. All right, now I'm going to set up on this side, and I'm going to slide my weight. It's going to kind of be on the mat, but it's also going to be into him. Okay, so I wrap here, and this is going to break him over. Okay, so I wrap here like this. If he's got a Darce or this grip, okay, I'm bracing and I'm gonna expand my chest as I come up, all right? If your feet are way out here, you gotta bring them up and push your chest open. You're not pinching your shoulders in the back, you're just expanding, okay? So, like if he's doing like a traditional style, like a Darce, right? So he's going kind of armpit out the neck. I wrap his armpit here and I'm breaking out. Right, like look how my legs are coming up here, and now I'm in this sort of reverse Kessa twister side position. Okay, so kind of saw some of you working on that from the guard passing with the flow drill. So if they grab around your chest, if they grab a Darce or an arm in guillotine, right, you sit through. If you're failing on a double, you sit through. But you got to kind of time these things. You got to know that. Like a key component on a lot of this is wrapping the arm. Like look, I wrapped his arm. All right, so as he's coming through there, I wrap his arm and I'm driving here. And I gotta come up like this, leading with that chest, okay? So we saw that arm wrap on the chest grab as well. So just some different perspectives there on sitting through from the under the front head. Okay, so we've been doing that stuff. Let's review it, and then we'll come back and look at sit-throughs from when they're beside you. Make sense? When they got the chest grab, okay, so first off, like whether you're down on here or whatever, like whatever side you go to, see my head's kind of already out, okay? So you can kind of weave your head out at times. I wrap around his arm above the elbow like a guillotine, and sometimes, again, we'll have my hand or forearm either on the mat or kind of grabbing this leg as I go under. So he keeps a really strong grip. He's not gonna let go, okay? That turns into the breakover. Again, you know, I'm trying to turn out to break that body lock. So if that happens, I didn't show that variation a second ago, but that happens, I showed it on the Drc Choke. You break them over sometimes. Sometimes you come out from underneath them, and I saw this happen with the groups as well, okay? I'm gonna do the all fours version from the chest grab. Okay, so I can go out, right? But you can also, like when you go out here, like watch this. I'm up in where I can do basic double options. Because you reposture. Anytime you're in an all four and you're like this and you go down, I've got my posture back. So that's kind of an idea on a sit through is that a lot of times you're reposturing. That's why you build that base up all fours like that. So drill a couple more minutes on the sit throughs from under front headlock and we'll move on. 1, 2. What really matters is what you're able to apply. Try and pick one that's like, that's my sit through. That's the one I'm going to use whenever I get caught. Try them, work them out, see if they work for you. And that's a process you got to kind of engage in. Go, you know, review some sit throughs, go watch wrestling matches, whatever you need to do. It's definitely a technique in jiu-jitsu you should, in wrestling, you should know about, a shared technique. Okay, so he's beside me now. Now, like, we've been talking about this and put out some videos on this. It's kind of like, I joke about, it's like the jiu-jitsu way to sit through. Like, it's like there's a meme going around right now, these three weird, the three dragons. One of them looks super weird and kind of dorky, and that's the jiu-jitsu dragon. We do stuff weird. Double guard pulls, that's weird, all right? 2 people run up, and then they both do this, all right? Double guard pull, it's a thing. Go watch IBJJF. Hey, but we've been talking about this jiu-jitsu sit through where you use this turtle hook. If he's passing my guard and he doesn't get the hand inside, like I'm pummeling in, knee shielded, I can kind of do this stuff. Okay, so from this turtle hook, you've got this reaching through, and you can sit through to triangle. We talked about Kimuras, a couple of triangle variations, omoplatas. There's a whole bunch of cool options from here. We even got here with an underhook in the other day. Right, but the moral of the story is you can just kind of sit through to whatever style guard you want, or submission. So there's a setting through from here, and then too from here, if you're like using this to get away, you can use that wrestler switch, with or without the turtle. Like look, if he's trying to like crucifix my arm or something like that, like wouldn't it be a good idea to get it away? If he was trying to choke me by grabbing my collar, wouldn't it be a good idea to get it away? This idea of like crossing your hands, it removes his crucifix threat and it removes his lapel choke. Okay, so whether you have this or not, he gets beside me, right? He's coming in at me like this, right? I'm just doing that, whether I have this bracelet or not. Now the wrestler switch is I'm going here, I'm coming behind. Okay, now like we've been drilling this like a flow drill, now he's going. Right, he goes away, puts weight onto me, right? If I follow or if I don't, right? But you don't want to drop like weight just down on the mat. You got to drop some on this, okay? So kind of focus on that little detail where, right there. See here? I got like weight on Randy's arm. So it's a dilemma. He's got to start unwinding this arm, and as he does, I'm out. If my weight's on the mat, I don't present that dilemma to him. Okay? So you can follow, not follow, you can do the shin in. But that wrestler switch is best applied when it's timed. Right? So for example, I shot it on Randy, he sprawls, he clocks to the side. Right? Like this. I'm doing it as he's getting to the side. Not after he's already dropped all his weight on. Okay, so a couple of details, and we just call that the switch. Then here's another idea. Okay, it's not really a sit through, but it's kind of the idea of rolling out. Okay, you can do this with or without the turtle hook, if he's not moving, with the turtle hook's best. Okay, so people are gonna try and body lock you, right? I'm sorry, seatbelt actually is what I meant, right? There. Don't allow this to happen. That's what we were talking about last time about getting into some of these other details. Okay, so when you force the body lock, that's when we can do like that inside shoulder roll guard. Okay? Now, if this can take some different shapes, like if I getting his legs or his arms body locked, I can roll out. If he kind of holds on to me with the body lock around my waist here, and I start rolling, right? It may break him forward like this, and he may roll over, or I may go back down, like belly down if you can. Yes, this may also happen. What'll happen, a lot of times people will show this, they'll sit up and come into an omoplata this way, okay? But if they're stubborn and hold on to the body lock, it can become like a Granby roll. And you can do a Granby roll from here, okay? Sort of this idea, I'm gonna roll forward, right? Try not to go over with me. See, like the Granby roll a lot of times takes him over, see if you can keep your turtle. Yeah, so I'm going here, and then I go over the back shoulder, and I'm facing his hip. It's a little more advanced. We don't teach it a ton, but it's just bigger in wrestling when people are rear clenching you. And a lot of times it happens like what you saw Randy do. When I start rolling over, it makes him roll over. I could break over, like we saw in those other systems. Okay, so for jiu-jitsu, you're trying to a lot of times recover guard with the sit through. For wrestling, you're trying not to get them pinning you, breaking you over from the back ride. Okay, so think about some of that. Just go kind of review. Been doing this stuff for a few weeks, but review sit throughs from the side position. Make sense? 1, 2.